Hello and welcome back. This is episode 1 of the mod installation section of Lexy's Legacy of the Dragonborn modding guide. We will be starting with the optimized texture baseline section. First off, Skyrim Realistic Overhaul. That mod was manually downloaded, so we'll have to add that. Oops, no, cancel. Clicking the wrong button. Going to manual downloads, and we have to install them in order. Part 1 first. And since we're merging these into a single mod, we're going to name them the same. I'm just going to name it Skyrim Realistic Overhaul, and I'm going to copy that so I can just paste it next time. Manual, select the data and set as directory. OK. These were very large downloads, so they will take a little bit of time to install. Alright, moving on to part 2. And again, we want to name it Skyrim Realistic Overhaul. Manual. Set data. And OK. And we want to merge. Alright, moving on to part 3. And again, paste, manual, set data, OK, and again merge. Okay, that one didn't take quite as long. And the last one is the update. Let's see what the drop-down says. That might actually give me an option. No, it doesn't. And paste. Manual. Expand and set data as data. Okay. And merge. Alright, obviously that was the smallest one, so it didn't take as long at all. And you'll note that it has a CAO tag over here. That means we need to run it through the Cathedral Assets Optimizer. And that is not done in Mod Organizer, it's done outside of Mod Organizer. So we go to Utilities. I don't know if having Mod Organizer open affects that or not. It doesn't mention turning it off, but we'll see. Let's see. Open the exe. Under Profile, we want to select the No BSA option. Okay. And we want to go to Mod Organizer, Mods, Skyrim Realistic Overhaul, and run. Yes. And done. I believe I did that right. It's been a while since I used Cathedral Assets Optimizer, and it looks like it's been updated because I don't remember that UI. That just may be my bad memory, though. Alright, close that. Moving on to the Essential SKSE Plugins section. We have the .NET Script Framework, Manual. It's already in a it's already in a good format for installing, so we don't have to set a data directory. Click OK. Let's go ahead and activate them as we go. Next up, address library for SKSE plugins. It's this one. It's already set up. Good. Next up, bug fixes SSE. It's good. Next up, we have console util SSE. Looks good. Copy and paste in console. Set data. Looks good. SSE display tweaks. Looks good. This one has an INI that needs to be edited. Go down to the render section. And we need to change enable vsync equals true. Okay, it is already true. And we need to find UI frame rate limit map equals 60. There we go. UI frame rate limit map equals 60. There it is. UI frame rate limit map 60, and save, close. Enchantment reload fix SE. Looks good. Fix note icon for Sky UI. Set data. Looks good. I'm walking here. Looks good. Mum's the word. Looks good. Private profile redirector SE. Faster game start. Set data. Looks good. Skyrim skill uncapper. Set data. Looks good. SSE engine fixes. The SKSE64 plugin. Let's see. Alright, part 1 is installed like that, manually, and, or not manually, through Mod Organizer. Part 2 is installed manually. And it goes into the main Skyrim Special Edition directory, so let's open this. We'll go to Manual Downloads. Cut and paste. Replace. And minimize. It also has an INI that needs to be modified, so let's open that. And it is the enginefixes.ini, so it's that one. Go down to patches and change regular quick saves to true. True. And then go down to experimental. Okay. We're going to change memory manager to true. And we're going to change use TBB malloc to false. Okay. Save. Close. Alright, next up we have stay at the systems page updated. Manual. Looks good. Yes, I'm sure. Manual. Looks good. Scale form translation plus plus. Looks good. Whose quest is it anyway? Looks good. Alright, on to the unofficial patch section. It should have asked us if we wanted to extract the BSA. I think I may have forgot to set something up. Yep. Okay, this should have been done in the prerequisite section when we were setting up Mod Organizer. I must have missed that. Sorry about that. Okay, change the BSA extractor from enabled to true in the plugins section. We haven't had any that needed to be extracted, and there'll be a an icon over here letting us know when it needs to be extracted, but I'm pretty sure we have not had any so far. Okay. Sorry about that. Had something distracting me. Alright. Moving on. There were 3 files in this one, and you'll note they're all listed as main files. And the general practice is if you have multiple main files, they need to be installed as separate mods. So, come on. You can see it was a 4.5 gigabyte file, so it's taking it a minute to process. So don't worry if it stops responding. More than likely it will continue as soon as it gets done. So just give it a minute. Apparently it did not download correctly. Try that one more time, just to be on the safe side. Get the right one in just a second. Let's see. Downloads. Yep, it corrupted when it was downloaded. Okay, I'll have to re-download that one. I will pause the recording now so I do that real quick, and I shall return. And we are back. Okay. What would have tipped me off had I been paying attention is that it's only supposed to be 2.6 gigs. It was saying it was 4 point something, so that's an obvious clue that it was a corrupted download from the start. I've re-downloaded it, got the correct file size now, so it should work this time. Fingers crossed. Alright. And we are installing these as separate mods, so I'm just going to add Voices 1 at the end. Now with this particular one, I don't think it would actually hurt anything to install them as a single mod, but I could be wrong, so that's why we're going to do as the guide suggests and install it separately. Now this time it should ask us if we want to extract the BSA. Yeah. And since it does not have the BSA extracted tag, we're going to say no. And, oops, scroll back down to where we were. Part 2. And I'm going to change that to 2. Manual. Looks good. Okay. Okay. No again. Moving on to the unofficial Skyrim Special Edition patch. Manual. Looks good. Again, not extracted. Okay, on to perks and leveling. Ordinator. Looks good. No. We also need the optional Thief Skills Rebalance. Manual. Make sure you change the name so it doesn't get merged with the original. Okay, and 1 second. There we go. I've been forgetting to activate them as I go, so. Moving on, Eloquent Reader, True Scholar. Manual. Looks good now. Next. Oh. We have an optional. The less XP manual looks good. Oh, actually, in this particular instance, we're supposed to do it we're not supposed to do it the way they recommend, and these do actually get installed together. So I'm going to remove that and reinstall it. And keeping the name same as the original. Merge. Okay. Hey, pays to read the special instructions first sometimes. Alright, moving on, we have experience. Manual. Now we have a special instruction to delete a folder. You can either install it and then go in afterwards and delete it, or you can go in and just not install it in the first place. SDK Plugins, and we do not want the entire experience folder, so just uncheck that and it will still install the DLL and the INI. Okay, and okay. Doesn't matter how you do it as long as you end up with not having that folder. Okay, next we have Lexy's Experience INI. Okay, now this mod was downloaded from a page that has a bunch of patches and such for this guide specifically. So you'll notice that it's going to have the name of whatever the mod page was, or the last mod you installed from that page. What we're going to do is go down, and it's going to make a guess on what the mod should be called based on the name of the mod. So this is one of the guesses that it's providing, and that's it. If none of these look right to you, you can always just type it in manually, but we'll go with that. Lexy's Experience INI is right, so we'll just use that. Set data, and OK. In general, you don't want to use the first option for mods that are downloaded from that you downloaded multiple mods from the same page. You want to make sure you have the correct name installed to make things easier to find later. Alright, moving on. Bug fixes. Genuinely Intelligent Soul Trap. Manual. Looks good. Ask innkeepers to show rooms. Manual. This one does have the BSA extracted tag. So we'll click OK. And yes. Okay. And again, let's activate as we go. Next up we have Don't Talk with Your Mouth Full. Oh, you can don't worry about this merged tag as you're going. We'll do this when we get to the merges section later on. Okay, looks good. Bard instrumentals mostly, sing rarely. Okay, looks good. Oops, scrolled up too much. Next we have the Dragon Stalking fix. Again, BSA extracted this time. And it has a faux mod. Alright, so we want that. Obviously, there's no other option. And again, no other option, so just install. And yes, we want to extract. That was an easy faux mod, my favorite kind. No room for error. Alright, next up we have First Person Candlelight Fix. Looks good. Next up, Fuzro Do. Looks good. Next up, Horns Are Forever. Again, a BSA extracted one. Looks good. And yes. We have special instructions to delete the following file and or folder, the ESP, because it's apparently a dummy ESP. So open it up, go to File Tree. This is the other method for getting rid of a file when you have a special instruction to remove it. Just go to the File Tree tab, right click, and delete. Okay, close that. Next up we have Lock Overhaul Ordinator version. Manual. Set data. Looks good. We have special instructions that there are errors in Xedit. In order to fix it, we need to load it and resave it in the creation kit. So activate that. Now what I'm going to do create a new profile. Okay, I'm going to name it Creation Kit blank. I'll go to that, plugins, and I'm going to activating lock overhaul. Okay, and it has no masters, so, or at least none of the other mods are a master for it. Just the base masters. All right. If it had masters, you would activate those also. Then we're going to go to Creation Kit and run. Wait for it to load. Okay. Alright. Going to select Lock Overhaul and click Set as Active File. Okay. And you want to check the masters, Skyrim, Update, and Dragonborn. You can just double click on them. Alright, yep. And then just click OK. Might take just a minute. Okay, once it's done, you don't have to do anything at all. Just go up here to the save icon, click save. It says save complete, so we can close. And that is all there is to it. Next up, we have the main menu spinning Skyrim emblem. Oh, but first we need to go back to our Legacy of the Dragonborn profile. Back to the download section. Main menu, spinning Skyrim emblem. Manual, looks good. Next up, yeah, point the way. Apparently I got them downloaded in the wrong order, but that's fine. Point the way is the next one, so we'll do that. Looks good. Does not have the tag, so we're not going to extract anything. Next up, we have the Raven Rock fix exit on horseback. Looks good. Next up, Skyrim project optimization. Manual. Set data. Okay. And activate. Next up, sound hammering sounds. Looks good. Next up, we have better jumping SE. Set data. Looks good. Next up, to your face SE and VR. Looks good. Next up, Wood Elf male hair fix. Looks good. Alright, and we have a new tag. Better Skill and Quest Book Names SE has the ESL tag, which means we'll have to convert it in SSE Edit. We'll get to that in just a second. First, we have to install it. Okay, looks good. Activate. Alright. We have to load the mod in SSE Edit first, so let's do that. Okay, select none. We only want that one, and it'll automatically load its masters. So click OK, and wait for it to finish loading. I'm going to pause the recording because this might take a second. Alright, it didn't really take that long, but it gave me the opportunity to take a drink, so it works. Once we've done that, right click on the record flags in the file header. File header is over here. Record flags. There we go. Click edit. Yes. And we want to check mark the ESL flag. Okay. And that's all there is to it. Close. You'll see that's the file that has changed. Click OK. And you'll notice we have new SSE cache. I'm going to go ahead and take care of this now while I'm thinking about it, because I'll forget about it. All you got to do is drag and drop, and it'll add it to the cache you've already got. There are other ways to do it, but that's the easiest way for me. Alright, moving on. UI extensions. Looks good. No to extracting. Accept. Easy wheel menu. Looks good. Easy wheel convenient horses patch. Looks good. Once installed, rename the plugin to .esp. File tree. Rename. Delete the L and add a P. Okay. Close that. Better sleep wait menu. Set data. Looks good. Next up we have the Skyrim skill interface retexture. With a faux mod. This is the drawback to doing it my way, because I cannot see things that small. There we go. Alright. On this one we want background irradiant stars HDR nebula. Oops, not that one. That one. Next. This page we want perk lines option 3. Next. Perk lines color yellow. Constellations option 2. Perk stars option 2. HD Master and Secunda more stars. Next. HDR Nebula. Next. And the thank you. Install. Alright. Back to where we had it. Next up, we have Sky UI. Manual, looks good. No extracting. Activate, activate, activate. And we're going to run SSE edit for some manual SSE editing. Select none. And we want SkyUI and Skyrim ESM. Okay. Background loader has finished. Right click on SkyUI ESP. Click Add Masters. Check Skyrim and click OK. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. Save as exit. And then run it again to do the next step. I'm not sure if you could do the do that all at once, but it told me to save and exit before doing the next step, so I went ahead and did it that way. Probably it's for the best. Okay. Background loader finished. And just like when we did the ESL thing before, we're going to edit. Yes, I'm sure. And it can be flagged as both an ESM and an ESL. So we're going to do both of those. Click OK. We're all good here, so we can close and OK. Next up, SkyUI flashing save games fixed. Looks good. And you'll notice there's not a cache in the override because it already had the cache for the mods that we loaded. When we load mods that haven't been loaded before, we'll get new cache. So, wider MCM menu for SkyUI. Looks good. Next up, how much time do we have left? A little bit. Matter of time, HUD clock widget. Manual, looks good. No to extracting. Better message box controls. Looks good. Immersive HUD. Looks good. No to extracting. Savantgarde Miss Font Replacer. Set data. Looks good. More HUD SE. Set data. Okay. No to extracting. Next up, more HUD Inventory Edition. Set data. Looks good. Undiscovered means unknown. Has a faux mod. Okay. Whoops. Only the compass. And do you wish per player to be marked on the map? Yes. Next. SkyUI, yes. And none of those installed. Okay. No and vanilla font. Colored world marker, default Skyrim, next. Enemies, yes. Empty rhombus, next. And install. Alright. Next up we have smaller vanilla, nope, it's still processing, give it a second. Okay, smaller vanilla cursors. Alright, this one we can at least see a little bit, so it's the top one and install. Next we have character creation, race menu, manual, looks good, does not need to be extracted, okay. No, but we can run SSE edit after we activate it. Select none, and we want race menu ESP and race menu plugin ESP. Okay. Background loader finished. Yes, I'm sure. ESL. Okay. And edit. ESL. Okay. Close. Both of those are modified. Click OK. Next up, we have the dialog and follower control section. Easy to see dialog menu. Set data. Okay. Next up, Nether's follower framework with FOMOD. Okay. We want Skyrim Special Edition, obviously. We want Followers and Traps and Vanilla Skyhaven Temple. Okay. Next, we want None. Next, we want Interesting NPCs and RDO Comments. And we want None and None. Okay. Alright, next we have Go On Ahead. This one does need to be extracted. Okay. And we are running out of time, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here at the world map section. Thank you for joining me. I will see you in the next episode.